All right, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Racha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. Um, hey man, back again, on this trade war info. Okay, and it's funny because I was actually listening to the news this morning, and they were talking about the economic standpoint, and the lady, she's basically out here, she's somewhat internally panicking, but she's trying to keep her cool on the outside, and she's basically saying how the stock market opened, with a drop, but it wasn't too big a drop because investors were still hoping, as their last hope, as ongoing talks with China and the U.S., that they will come to a deal or reach some sort of agreement. Okay, investors were hoping on that, so that's why the market hadn't really taken such a horrible turn. Okay, but all right, here I have a couple of articles from RT. Okay, which go into it, man, because Trump is basically saying that, and it's the spirit of the Lord that Trump is acting like that, because he's basically saying, yo, man, this isn't, he's in no rush. He's in no rush to come to a deal, to come to an agreement. He feels the tariffs are doing a good enough job, and on top of that, he says, hey, if they don't come to an agreement, man, it's gonna get to the point where they're gonna put tariffs on everything, all imports from China, all right, from clothes to electronics to anything that says made in China, they're gonna put tariffs on. And they were also saying how that's gonna affect who? It's gonna affect the consumers, all right, because the consumers, all right, are the ones who are gonna be paying more for these different things. Okay, now on a larger scale, this doesn't affect only American consumers and businesses and investors, but this affects the global economy as well. Why? Because this, which I'm going to read in the article, also is going to affect these European or these other countries, is going to affect their economy. Okay, so the first article, all right, which was published 8 hours ago, it says global trade may fall victim to Washington's tariff hike on Chinese goods. All right, so let me just let this load real quick. Okay, so it says Washington's decision to increase import duties on $200 billion worth of Chinese imports may shake global trading environment and further slow growth, according to a Moody's Investor Service assessment. Now, you notice how they said slow growth, okay? And that's what happens, man, when it's going to get to the point where it's not going to be growing anymore, okay? And when it stops growing, it's going to start dying, okay? So it's going to start going in reverse, and that's when the panic is going to set in the most, because when this economy starts crashing, when the global economy starts crashing, man, it's not going to be a slow process. It's going to be quick, okay? It's going to be quick, like an avalanche, all right? Or like a snowball that's rolling down, it's going to pick up speed real quick, okay? And that's what these people fear. That's why they don't want it to get to that point, all right? So it says the additional, but over here, man, it's prophecy. Okay, it's been prophesied that the economy is going to crash. All these different things are going to happen. And that's going to lead to that chip, man. Because and why do you think the chip is going to be a worldwide thing? The mark of the beast, the RFID microchip, why do you think they're going to implement it worldwide? Because it's a new currency. It's a new form. So once this old way is done away with, they bring it back, or they bring about a new way, which is going to be spearheaded by the chip. All right, the beast system. Everything is going to be biometric. All right, but in order to bring that in, you have to destroy the old. Hence the economic collapse. So it says the additional 15% in levies exacerbate the uncertainty in the global trading environment, as well as negatively affects global sentiment and adds to risk of aversion globally. Michael Taylor, a Moody's management director and chief creditor officer for Asia Pacific, said in an email comment as cited by media, the higher tariffs could also lead to the repricing of risk assets globally, tighter financial conditions and slower growth, he said. The analyst further added that the increased tariffs would have a significant effect on China, in particular, as the measure would hinder private investment decisions. Later on Friday, the threat of global fallout from the trade spat between the two world's biggest economies was acknowledged by the French foreign minister, who called the escalation of the row the biggest threat to world growth. You see? So this trade war is not a joke, it's not a light thing. All right? But guess what? Once again, you have people that are not even aware that that the US is even in something like this with China. You know? It says it would mean that trade tariffs go up, fewer goods would circulate around the world, and jobs in France and in Europe would be destroyed. All right? So you see how what's going on here would affect their economy. All right? And man, I'm telling you now, once the US economy crashes, it's taking the world economy with it, man. It says Bruno Le Maire warned, as cited by media. Okay? It says here it says the warnings came as Beijing and Washington tried to hammer out a trade deal to avert further escalation of their trade war after the US announced that import duties on Chinese goods will be raised from 10 to 25%. The hike comes into effect on May 10th, which is today. All right, so it should have officially taken effect. China has already vowed to take necessary countermeasures in response. All right, so here it is. They're trying to have talks. But how do you think China is going to receive it if Trump is saying, yeah, we can talk. However, the tariffs are still going to be put into place. So now China's like, wait, we're trying to make an agreement with you, but you still let the tariffs come into place. So now we're getting affected. All right. But you talking about there's no rush. There's no rush. You're in no rush to come to an agreement. So Trump really he doesn't seem that concerned about it. All right, and as we've seen in previous times, when those tariffs first went up against China, what were they doing? They were doing mirror responses. All right, so let's see if they do that now. All right, it says while Moody's still hopes that a trade deal will be reached, it says the risk of a complete breakdown in trade negotiations has certainly increased. Hey, and once that happens, man, it's over. Okay, it is over, man. Once that happens, once they reach that point of, we're done. When we're done, China says we're done trying to get through to you, and Trump says I don't care. It's over. Okay. It says, look at that. China vows to take necessary countermeasures after U.S. tariff hike, stalling talks. All right. It says hope for a last-minute agreement between the U.S. and China mostly strengthened Asian stock markets on Friday. See, so it's that little hope that they have that they're gonna come to some sort of agreement. But hey, if the Spirit of the Lord says no, if the Most High says no, guess what? Trump is gonna do something, or China's gonna do something, or they're both just not gonna come to an agreement. All right, because listen, man, we are in that time where destruction is coming, man. It's coming, man. The scriptures say, all right, that the prophecy is set for an appointed time. All right, and we're in that time. And guess what, man? Once one starts, everything else is gonna follow like a domino effect. All right, that's why we stay on top of these prophecies and this news. All right, because it's related to scriptures, and we filter it. We're watching and measuring the times diligently. All right, and we can know what time we're in, and warn the sheep. So it says the benchmark Shanghai, and by sheep I mean the basically the Lord's elect, those who are listening. It says the benchmark Shanghai Composite Index advanced 3.1%, while the Shenzhen Composite Index gained more than 3.8%. Another benchmark, Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index, went up nearly 1%. However, Japan's Nikkei closed with losses of 0.27%, while Taiwan TAIEX and Indonesia JAKID-X also slid. All right. So that was the first article, but now the second one it's hinting more towards, a no deal. All right, because it says here, Trump basically says, well, the article says easier and quicker. Trump says tariffs are actually better than deal with China. So you see how once again it's like, it'll make China see it as though, well, why are we out here trying to make a deal if this guy doesn't even care? you know so it says increased levies on Chinese goods would work faster and better than a traditional agreement, so there is no need to speed up ongoing trade talks. US President Donald Trump said after slapping Beijing with additional duties. So that's like you trying to have peace with somebody and they're out here playing games because they think they have the advantage, and you're being affected by the games they're playing, but they're out here taking their sweet time. You trying to set up a time to meet and talk things out, and they're like, nah, I gotta wash my feet, I gotta pet my cat, I gotta gaze out my window for a good couple of hours, I don't think I'm gonna make it today, that kind of thing. So now how does that make you feel? Now you feel like, you know what, screw you then, forget peace talks, because you basically wasting my time. And that's the effect Trump is giving off. All right. So it says the U.S. decision to hike tariffs from 10% to 25% came into effect on Friday, as the final day of tough talks between the two countries to avert further trade war escalation began in Washington. All right. Now, hey, if because the Dow, the stock market, if I'm not mistaken, is closed on the weekend. So if they were to have it, come out and say, oh well, we're at a full-on trade war and we're not, there's no agreement over the weekend, hey man, you better expect to see some sharp drops on Monday. All right, when the week begins, expect to see some heavy damage, man. All right. So it says, however, the U.S. leader said that matters are good enough as they stand now, and the deal can wait, as massive payments go directly to the U.S. Treasury. You see that? The deal can wait. Tariffs will bring in far more wealth to our country than ever, than even a phenomenal deal of the traditional kind. Also, much easier and quicker to do, Trump wrote in one of his tweets on Friday morning. So you see what kind of effects this gives? It says here, the U.S. economy has lost $500 billion annually for many years due to crazy trade with China, Trump added, reiterating his earlier pledge to end the practice. He also said that the duties make America much stronger, while slamming the previous Obama administration for letting China get away with murder without elaborating. Although U.S. Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin described the talks as constructive, they reportedly ended without the U.S. and China reaching an agreement. Earlier in the day, Beijing vowed to retaliate with all necessary countermeasures. So if they didn't come to an agreement, right, and China's out here like, yo, fam, we still getting affected by these tariffs, and they said they vowed to retaliate, what do you think is going to happen then? It says China still hopes the ongoing talks will bring about a mutually satisfactory agreement, its Commerce Ministry said. There's a little bit more. It says the trade war has already affected billions of mutual imports via tariffs since early 2018, when Trump accused Beijing of unfair trade practices and stealing trade secrets. The new U.S. levies target a wide range of Chinese imports, including electronics, luggage, furniture, construction materials, seafood, and lighting. The measure does not affect items currently en route from China, giving investors hope that the two sides can still come to an agreement before the next shipments. The increased tariffs will likely take a toll not only on the parties involved, but also on global trade. See? Moody's rating agency warned. So it's going to be a world issue, because China and the U.S. have two of the biggest economies. They have damn near most consumers. So if they're having a trade war, man, how do you think that's gonna affect the rest of the world? because they depend on these countries, all right, to have certain things or make certain deals, concerning trade and all of these different things. So it says France also voiced concern over the escalating U.S.-China trade war, with the foreign minister saying there is no greater threat to world growth. All right. So hey man, that's that's the times we're in. Okay, and all you hear is what talks of war. All right, people are on the edges of their seat. They're not at ease. Okay, because they can see how this is going. Now this is on the economic side, and then you got on the on the other tip, you got the U.S. really pushing, all right, against Iran. All right, and guess what, man? They're gonna push and push and push until something breaks. All right, and that's gonna lead to something even more. You have North Korea now. Basically, they're at the point where they're just like, you know what? To hell with whatever we agreed on with the U.S. We're gonna start shooting our missiles again. Okay, so all these different things are picking back up, man. Like the scriptures say, which you know what? Let me end it on that. All right, Habakkuk, and we always bring this out, man. But hey, as the saying goes, what's that? Repetition is the father of skill, or something like that. But the point is, hey, it's important, it's relevant that we bring out these scriptures. All right. So it says Habakkuk 2:3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak, meaning it's gonna come to pass. It's gonna start happening. All right, and the vision represents what? The prophecies, and not lie. Okay, so when it starts happening, you're gonna know, yep, this is exactly what was written in there. This isn't a coincidence, it's none of that. All right, and the same way it was written is the same way it's gonna happen. It says, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. That's funny, you're dealing with tariffs, tarry. But the point is, though it tarry, wait for it. So guess what? That whole point, after the government shut down and everything seemed pretty quiet for a while, that's a part of it tarrying. Okay, but it says what? It will surely come, it will not tarry. Okay, and we're at that point, man. So we're really waiting, on the Lord to see what it is that He wants to be done. But hey, man, once the Most High says it's time and He starts this off, man, brace yourself. All right, Lord willing, this is edifying unto the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. Until next time, Shalom.